Hello, welcome or welcome back, but really I should be saying welcome back to myself because it has been a minute. For those that are mildly interested, 2025 has been a year from turning 30 to ending an engagement to moving house and even living in London, part-time living in London for 2 months. It's been interesting. So it's been a year, but hopefully I'm back now for the long run. I'm firstly going to start with common mistakes that followers make when they are dancing. Now you might be thinking, well, who are you? Who are you to tell me what my mistakes are? If it's going to help you take the advice a little bit more seriously, I've been teaching Bachata for the last 6 years and I taught ballroom and Latin before that. Now, in these last 6 years, I've been teaching everyone from beginners all the way through to intermediate advanced levels, and I both lead and follow, so I can lead and feel with the followers the mistakes that are being made, but also I've been helping a lot of followers to improve their social dancing and have had good feedback. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through just a couple of mistakes that you might be making and how to correct that, which is the most important part, of course. How to correct those mistakes so that your social dancing gets better over time. Now, with anything that you're learning, any new skill, things take time. And especially if you've developed a bad habit, it's going to take time to, one, recognize that you have this bad habit, and two, to make sure that we are breaking this bad habit and implementing a new one. It takes time. So I will always say, yes, these videos are here to help you, to make you into a better dancer, but if you can't implement what it's saying straight away, that's okay. As long as it's in the back of your head, you know what you need to improve on, and you just pick one thing. Just pick one thing to take away from this video, and then spend the next 2 months implementing that whenever you go dancing. That's all you need to do, and over time, I promise you, you will become a better dancer. For now, let's get into these mistakes. Now, number one, which will be a game changer when it comes to following, is your frame. What do we mean by frame? It is the thing that transmits what the leader is saying through to the follower, okay? So, from a leader's perspective, it's going to be their central point. Obviously, before that, they decided what the move is. That then transmits to your central point. That then transmits to the limbs. And then through to the follower's limbs, into her central point to then produce the move. Now, if at any point, any of those touch points, any of the joints, for example, are not as efficient as possible, the leaders aren't going to be able to transmit the information through to your body, and your body won't be able to, produce the movement that it needs to produce. Now, we can't control the leaders, okay? We can't control them. That's their job to work on themselves and their body. We can control ourselves. So we need to make sure that we are working as efficiently as possible in terms of our frame to be able to receive and respond to what the leader is doing. We always want to make sure that our frame comes from our center. We're going to talk about posture later, but we want to make sure that we've got a good posture, our frame comes from our center, and that we are not doing unnecessary movements within our body that has not been, for example, led. There is a kind of an argument here that you can add styling, and we can do that later, but I always say, work on your following first. Once you've got your following in a really good position, then you can add your styling in within the lead in a way that doesn't disrupt the lead. Going back to your frame, you've got your frame in the center, you've got your arms up, elbows, always say to air out your underarms. So we're here, open, and our elbows are always in front of our body. As soon as your elbows go back of your body, you've lost. That's it, okay? So elbows in front of your body, and we have a good frame, and we don't have unnecessary movements in our joints because we need them to be able to transmit the information to where we need to go, okay? So everything up here is as still as possible so that we can receive the lead and that all these micro movements in the lead can be transmitted into our body. To improve our frame, we want to make sure firstly that we've obviously got the good posture. I should have started with that one really. Got the good posture. We are not using unnecessary movements in our joints. Our joints aren't loose. So I had this thing called the rule of the elbows, okay, which is a terrible name, but it makes it stick because it's an important thing, is that your elbows don't go past the boundary of your body. So if I'm standing here, for example, and I start lifting my arms up, they're not going to go past this point unless the leader is specifically asking for something or for an arm or a styling point or a lead. But in general, the arms are not going to go past here. In this position, the arm is not going to go past your body. And if it does, then that means you need to step back or move backwards, but we're never going to be in a position where our arms are here, for example, because it's past this boundary, okay? Same here, if I'm being led into a turn, for example, and the arm starts moving across, if you think of this plane as a boundary, as the arm starts moving across, I have to move with it, okay? I don't allow this arm to go past my body in this direction or to cross my body, unless, for example, it has been led in a certain way, like a like a comb, for example. In general, when we have a good lead coming through, we're going to follow that through with our elbows rather than allowing the frame to collapse in different ways. Okay, frame number one, which then moves us on to the thing that I've already mentioned. It's your posture. Now, if you have poor posture, it makes it harder for the lead to be transmitted. Why? Because if I'm like this, number one, there are some leads which actually come from opening and closing the chest. Now, if your chest is already in the closed position, there's no more that it can close, okay? So then you can't actually follow the next part. So we always want to make sure that our chest is in a neutral position. It's not super out like this, but we're not concaved either. So we're in a neutral position. Shoulders up, back, and down into the socket. And here we are activating our lats. We're activating these muscles here and pushing those shoulders down, okay? Again, this will help to create this frame and also have this position where your arms naturally feel more comfortable to be raised. So we have our shoulders up, back, and down. We've got our chest not too forward, not too back, just in a good position. And then we have this line here. So I don't have my hips in a forward position, but I don't have them super stuck out either. There's a good neutral position here where I'm pushing the tailbone slightly in so I don't have lower back pain. And I'm contracting here whilst creating a long line here. So I'm not here, my rib cage is lifted up. And then this is how you would dance, okay? If you can dance like this, again, you're going to be able to receive the information from the leader so much easier, and it will look much nicer as well. On top of that, you're less likely to suffer from lower back pain because you're in a funny position, and less likely to suffer from this sort of upper back here as well. So having a good posture, you're going to have a better time. Number 3, and this is especially when we're looking at sensual movements and Bachata movements, okay? Because in these movements, there's a lot of tilting of the body that happens, and perhaps destabilization because we're moving past certain boundaries of our feet, which shouldn't really happen, but sometimes does happen. Tilted turns, there's lots of things that are happening where our balance, rather than being in this beautiful, lovely straight line, is being taken off, or for example, moving forwards and being taken off, or just different circular movements that can cause imbalances. Now, to help with your balance, funnily enough, your foot position matters. Yes, having a wide base is important, and we can talk about balance in another video. But actually the way that your feet are positioned is going to help your balance. I always say aim for 45 degrees out, which does feel funny, but when you're doing certain positions like leaning down, you're going to end up feeling much more balanced and much more stable if you can point your feet out and bend your knees in the direction that your feet are pointing out. So foot positioning, if you're having balance issues, is key. Number 4 is panicking. There's been times where I have led a move for a follower, and perhaps she doesn't know the move, she hasn't done it before, but if it was something that she could, be calm with, follow the lead, she actually would have been able to get it. And I know that this because I've tried this many times. So sometimes when you're like, oh, I missed the lead, I missed that, you start panicking a little bit, you get into your own head. Now, the problem with getting into your own head is as soon as you get into your own head, you stop listening to your body, okay? And as a follower, our job is to listen to the leader's body. So the leader is communicating something to you. As a follower, you have to listen first, and then you can translate that into something for your own body, and then you can communicate back, like, this is the move that I decided to do, this is how I've interpreted it, I hope you like it, But you can't get to that position if you haven't listened in the first place. And as soon as you get into your own head, and you're like, oh no, I did that wrong, am I off time, has something gone wrong, I missed the lead, they're gonna think I can't dance, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next, is my arm supposed to be straight, is my legs, as soon as you get into this kind of self-talk, that's it. It's going to be so difficult for you to recover without quietening that inner voice and then getting back onto listening with your body to your leader. Of course, easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But sometimes that self-talk comes from not thinking you're good enough, or thinking that the leader you're dancing with is so much better than you are, or thinking that, I don't know all the moves, so how can I possibly follow? But always say, come back to your basics, come back to your technique, have your good frame, have your good posture. You know your footwork, 3 steps and a tap, right? In Bachata, 3 steps and a tap. If you can stick to that when the leader's doing whatever they're doing, apart from sensual Bachata, of course, but when the leader's doing whatever they're doing, as long as your frame is good, you should be able to follow moves that you don't yet know. And, if you're not there yet with sort of following, you're not there yet, then that's okay because we are all learning. But the key thing is to get out of your head, to listen with your body. As soon as that panic sets in, take a deep breath and be like, I'm just going to do my best here. That's okay. You know, it might not be me, it might be the leader's fault, but also equally, it doesn't really matter whose fault it is because we're both here to have a good time. So try your best not to panic because it doesn't help, it doesn't serve you at all. We want to get back into our body and listening with our frame to then transmit. And if we make mistakes, that's okay. That's okay. I make mistakes all the time, whether I'm leading or following, especially following. I make mistakes all the time. So making mistakes, absolutely fine. We just laugh it off, and then we can either try the move again if the leader wants to, or the leader can then assess and be like, okay, cool, maybe that move was a little bit too hard, so let's do something different. Or maybe I led that move incorrectly, so let's do something different, let me try something else. Okay? So try and keep the panicking as much as you can to a minimum. And then finally, and sometimes this comes in with the whole panicking thing, but finally, the last point I want to say, which is a common mistake that followers make, is assuming what the move is after the first count and then just going for it. Sometimes I can start leading a head roll and suddenly they've done the head roll, they've done a body roll, they've done a reverse, they've self-diffed and they come back up. And I'm just like, wow, that was beautiful. And you know, it normally is very beautiful. It's just not quite what I was hoping for in this moment. And of course we can say, yes, it's a conversation, the followers decided to take the lead in this situation, fine. But if you want to become and progress as a better follower, what I would say is try and follow for every single moment that the lead is leading, okay? So if the leader is leading you into a head roll, they actually might want to reverse that head roll and to go the other way and then come round again. So what you want to do as a follower is we want to be paying attention to every single moment that the leader is leading, and we go with the leader. We go with the leader. If anything, we're always a slight fraction behind the leader because the leader has transmitted something and then we are responding, and that takes time. So if anything, the follower is always slightly behind the leader, slightly behind even the music fraction of a second, to the point where we are actually moving as one because I'm taking every single moment. So try your best, followers, not to assume what the move is. If the leader starts leading a turn, you're like, oh, I know this one, and you just turn really quickly. But maybe they wanted to stop the turn halfway. Maybe they wanted to put their hand on their back. Maybe they wanted to lead a head roll after the turn. But you haven't given them the opportunity to do that because you've just kind of gone with it, okay? So you're going to create much more beautiful and cohesive dances if, again, we can come into our body, we can listen to what the leader's trying to tell us, then we can turn that into something beautiful until perhaps we get blocked or something changes, and then we can also change and be like, oh, okay, you've thrown a spanner in the works here, that's fine. Now look at how I'm going to transform this into something nice. Okay, the key is we're listening with our bodies. So just a quick recap, we're thinking about our frame, we're making sure that we don't have loose joints, we're making sure that there is some elasticity in our arms, but we're not going crazy and crossing boundaries of our body. We're making sure that we have good posture, shoulders back and down, long lines, and an open chest, but not an open chest, just a neutral chest, I guess. Making sure that our foot positioning is correct so that when we are being put in potential moments where we can lose balance, that our foot positioning is not going to make us, twist an ankle or, more likely to fall over. So we just want to make sure we're maintaining our own balance and looking after ourselves. We're not panicking and getting into our head if something goes wrong. We're coming back into our body, connecting with the leader, connecting with the music once more. And finally, we're not assuming the move. We're taking the time to listen to every single moment of the lead and following it through the whole way. I hope this video was useful for you. If you want more content like this, please comment below. It is really motivating for me when you guys comment, so then I can comment back and also create more videos. And if there's anything else you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. And of course, it's not just the followers that are going to get told off for their mistakes. Leaders, a video for you is coming soon too. So keep an eye out for that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.